There is a healing intelligence within the human being that never sleeps, never falters, never forgets its purpose. It is the same intelligence that formed the body from a single cell, that knit together bones and sinews, that orchestrated the rhythm of the heart before the mind had learned to think. This life principle knows no disease, no decay, no obstruction. It is perfect, pure, and whole. Yet most live unaware of this power, allowing fear, doubt, and negative suggestion to cloud the channel through which this infinite healing current flows. When a person accepts sickness as a permanent reality, when they entertain thoughts of weakness, when they rehearse in imagination the drama of limitation, they give command to the subconscious to manifest exactly that. But when one learns to feed the mind with the image of radiant vitality, to speak inwardly the language of wholeness, the body must obey, for the subconscious accepts every impression as fact and sets the creative law in motion to bring it forth. The secret is not in wrestling with the condition, nor in condemning the body for what it seems to be at present. The secret is in quietly but persistently impressing upon the inner mind the pattern of health one desires to see. Just as a gardener plants a seed and trusts the invisible process to produce a harvest, so must one plant the seed of perfect health in the fertile soil of the subconscious. This seed is planted through repeated emotionally charged mental pictures and words. If those words and images are consistent, unconflicted, and saturated with faith, the subconscious will transform them into the physical equivalent, adjusting cells, organs, and systems to reflect the mental blueprint. No force in heaven or earth can prevent the manifestation of what the subconscious accepts with conviction, for the law of belief is the law of life itself. In 30 days, a transformation can begin that will astonish those who witness it. Not because the days themselves contain some magic, but because 30 days of unwavering focus is enough to rewrite the inner script. The mind is like a record that plays what has been engraved upon it. 30 days of daily deliberate programming can replace years of unconscious acceptance of limitation. Imagine beginning each morning in stillness, the breath steady, the eyes closed, and the mind dwelling on the vivid scene of walking in full strength, of breathing deeply without effort, of feeling light, agile, and energized. This mental movie is not wishful thinking. It is the architect's plan, the spiritual prototype, which the body will construct cell by cell under the guidance of the infinite intelligence within. Yet for this to take root, one must refuse to mentally rehearse illness. The subconscious cannot distinguish between the reality of the outer senses and the vivid reality of inner imagination. Every time one dwells upon symptoms, complains of pain, or fears a relapse, the inner builder receives a new conflicting set of instructions. This confusion delays the healing process. The task, therefore, is to become a guardian of the mind's gate, admitting only those thoughts and images that align with the desired state of health. This is not denial, it is discipline. It is refusing to give the creative power of thought to what is not wanted, and instead feeding only what one wishes to grow. Those who succeed in this work do not measure progress by the clock or the calendar alone. They understand that faith is cumulative, that each affirmation of health adds weight to the balance, tipping the scale in favor of healing. They repeat their health statements not mechanically but with feeling, as if speaking to a trusted friend who always fulfills promises. They may say, "Every cell of my body is infused with divine life now," and as they speak they feel the warmth of that truth in their chest. They see the light of that truth in their mind's eye. In that moment they have entered the state of health, and the subconscious receives the order to make it so in the outer world. It is vital to understand that the subconscious works only with the raw material given to it. If given fear, it will build conditions that match fear. If given images of vigor and vitality, it will orchestrate bodily functions to produce vigor and vitality. This is why 30 days of mental discipline is so powerful. It creates a saturation point where the subconscious has no competing images to draw from, no conflicting instructions to process. The mind becomes single in purpose, and the body becomes single in response. This focused harmony is the birthplace of rapid recovery and renewal. Some may ask, but what if the condition is long-standing? What if it has been with me for years? To that the answer is simple. The subconscious does not keep time as humans do. It responds to the intensity of belief, not the length of the condition. A deeply impressed new image can override an old one at once, just as a fresh recording can replace an old track instantly when pressed into the same groove. The 30 days are not about convincing the subconscious slowly. They are about allowing the conscious mind to remain steadfast long enough for the new pattern to be fully accepted without interruption. This is the discipline that transforms. To hold in mind, with calm confidence, the vision of perfect health, until it becomes more real in feeling than the memory of illness. As this happens, the body begins to act as though the healing has already occurred, because in truth it has, in the unseen realm of mind. Physical change is simply the slow revealing of what is already complete in the invisible. The law of the subconscious is absolute. What one feels is true in the present moment will be experienced in the body tomorrow. And so the first step in this journey is simple yet profound. Begin now to live in the end. For the next 30 days, speak and think only of health, not as something to come, but as something now present. Walk, talk, and breathe as though the body is already functioning perfectly. This is not acting, it is aligning. It is giving the subconscious the signal that the work is done, that the pattern is perfect, that nothing remains but to reveal it in form. Hold to this with devotion, and the unseen architect within will bring forth a masterpiece of vitality, strength, and peace. As the second stage of this mental reconditioning begins, the one who seeks perfect health must understand the great truth. Every cell in the human body listens. It listens to the language of the mind, to the vibrations of thought, to the silent but potent currents of feeling. Cells are not isolated particles of matter. They are centers of intelligence within the grand design of life. When the mind speaks with clarity, love, and conviction, these cells obey with precision. The trouble in so many lives is that the commands they receive are inconsistent. One day they are instructed to flourish. The next they are told to brace for decline. The 30-day transformation works because it ends this confusion. It turns the mind into a singular broadcasting station, transmitting only the signal of harmony, renewal, and divine order. One of the most powerful ways to cement this harmony is through the deliberate practice of mental stillness. In the noise of daily life, the mind scatters its energy in 1,000 directions. But when one learns to quiet the conscious chatter and sink into deep relaxation, the subconscious becomes most receptive. In such moments, the spoken word is not merely heard, it is absorbed, impressed, and etched into the very blueprint of the body. A person may recline in a comfortable chair, close their eyes, and begin to breathe rhythmically, each exhalation releasing tension, each inhalation drawing in the feeling of health. In this state, an affirmation such as "I am whole in every organ and function now" drops into the subconscious like a seed into fertile soil. Repeated daily, this moment of stillness becomes a workshop where the inner architect builds anew. It is here that one must also understand the role of imagination in healing. The imagination is not a toy for idle fantasy. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Whatever is vividly imagined with emotion sets into motion the forces that will bring it into physical reality. If the mind can be made to see and feel the image of a body moving freely, with strong muscles and easy breath, then the subconscious will set about producing exactly that. The ancient sages knew this and spoke of seeing the end from the beginning. They knew that the subconscious works only from completed images. It does not speculate, it executes. Therefore, in the practice of mental healing, one must not imagine the process of getting better, but the finished scene of perfect health already attained. There is also an emotional alchemy that must take place. Many who suffer in body also carry resentment, fear, or regret in the mind, not realizing that these emotional poisons drip into the subconscious and manifest as physical disharmony. To rewire the mind for health, one must cleanse the emotional life as thoroughly as the mental. Forgiveness, gratitude, and love are not sentimental luxuries. They are medicinal forces. When one forgives, the mental atmosphere becomes pure, allowing the healing current to flow without obstruction. When one practices gratitude, the subconscious receives the signal that life is abundant and good, prompting the body to reflect that abundance in vitality. And when one gives love freely, to others and to oneself, the very chemistry of the body shifts toward health. The subconscious mind responds to authority. If the conscious mind hesitates, doubts, or wavers, the subconscious takes that as the instruction. But when the conscious mind issues a command with unwavering certainty, the subconscious moves heaven and earth to comply. This is why the tone of one's inner speech matters. An affirmation whispered timidly carries little power, but one spoken inwardly with the calm assurance of a decree carries the weight of law. Each day of this 30-day program is an opportunity to speak with that kind of authority, to speak as one who already possesses the health they desire, not as one begging for it from afar. In this stage, the physical body often begins to respond in subtle ways. Energy may increase, sleep may deepen, minor discomforts may fade without notice. These are signs that the subconscious has begun to accept the new pattern. Yet it is essential not to measure too early or too anxiously. Seeds do not sprout because the gardener keeps digging them up to check for progress. They sprout because they are left undisturbed in the dark, nourished by faith. So it is with mental healing. Once the new image is planted, it must be trusted to grow in its own perfect sequence. There will be moments in these 30 days when old thought patterns try to reassert themselves, whispering of limitation or failure. This is the last resistance of the old mental program. It must be met not with argument but with replacement. Instead of wrestling with the thought, one can simply introduce the chosen image again, speaking the health affirmation with calm repetition until the old thought dissolves. In this way, the mind is never left empty, for an empty mind is a magnet for fear. Rather, it is kept full of the desired state, leaving no room for the return of what is not wanted. By the close of this second stage, the one who practices faithfully will notice an inner shift. The mental picture of health will no longer feel like an effort to imagine. It will begin to feel natural, inevitable, even obvious. This is the point at which the subconscious is nearly convinced. The remainder of the journey is not about building the image, but about holding it with unshakable consistency until it emerges into the light of day as the visible reality of the body. The blueprint is drawn, the foundation is set, the work of the unseen builder is well underway. As the days advance and the pattern of perfect health takes deeper root in the subconscious, the individual begins to notice that their outer life subtly shifts to align with this inner transformation. Encounters, environments, and even chance conversations seem to support the new mental image. This is no accident. The subconscious not only governs the functions of the body, it influences the conditions and circumstances of life itself. When it is charged with the blueprint of radiant health, it orchestrates both the internal chemistry and the external opportunities to sustain that state. A person may find themselves drawn to healthier foods without conscious effort, meeting individuals who share knowledge of wellness, or feeling an unexpected desire to move, stretch, and breathe more deeply. These outward adjustments are the shadow cast by the inner reality, the inevitable consequence of a mind reconditioned to accept only wholeness. It is here that the discipline of mental diet becomes paramount. Just as the body's nutrition must be carefully chosen to promote vitality, so must the mind's intake be guarded against the poisons of fear, despair, and doubt. One cannot feed the subconscious images of sickness from books, films, or conversations and expect it to produce a body of health. The law of the subconscious is impartial. It will construct in the body what the conscious mind allows to enter, regardless of whether the entry was casual or deliberate. Therefore, each day must be treated as a sacred workshop in which only the raw materials of healing are admitted. This may mean declining certain discussions, avoiding harmful media, and replacing every negative impression with its positive counterpart. Another key to sealing the new pattern is the fusion of word and feeling. Words alone, spoken without emotion, are like seeds scattered on stone. They have no depth in which to grow. But when a word is clothed in the feeling of its truth, it penetrates deep into the subconscious, where it is received as a command. This is why those who succeed in mental healing speak their affirmations as though they were already living the result. They do not merely say, "I am healthy," while thinking of their symptoms. They say it while feeling the warmth of strength in their muscles, the ease of breath in their lungs, the clarity of light in their eyes. This marriage of thought and emotion imprints the image upon the subconscious as a living reality, not a distant hope. The body is, in many ways, an instrument played by the mind. Just as a musician tunes their instrument before performing, the mind must be tuned to the frequency of health before the body can produce the music of vitality. Tuning the mind involves daily repetition of the desired image, deliberate cultivation of healing emotions, and the unyielding rejection of anything contrary to that image. It means starting each morning and ending each night with a mental picture of perfect health, allowing it to be the first and last impression upon the subconscious each day. In this way, the mind plays the same note of health without interruption, and the body vibrates in harmony with it. For some, this period may bring temporary discomforts as the body adjusts to the new instructions. Old tensions may release, bringing momentary fatigue. Long-held toxins may be expelled, producing brief changes in mood or energy. These are not signs of failure, but of progress, proof that the body is reorganizing itself in accordance with the new mental order. Just as a house under renovation may look more chaotic before it becomes beautiful, so too may the body undergo transitions before the image of perfect health is fully visible. Faith during these moments is crucial, for the subconscious continues to build regardless of appearances, and appearances are always the last to change. This is also the time to harness the great healing power of gratitude. Gratitude is the recognition that what one desires already exists in the unseen and is on its way into form. When a person gives thanks for their perfect health as though it were already present, they affirm the reality of the inner blueprint and hasten its manifestation. Gratitude dissolves the tension of striving, replacing it with the restful confidence of possession. It tells the subconscious, this is not something to work toward, it is something I already have. And the subconscious, hearing this, accelerates the process of physical alignment. Another tool that reinforces the work is mental rehearsal before sleep. The minutes before unconsciousness are a golden gate to the subconscious mind, when it is most open to suggestion. By ending the day with the mental movie of walking in perfect health, of living in strength and energy, one ensures that these images will be replayed and reinforced throughout the night. In sleep, the subconscious works without interruption, weaving the threads of the mental picture into the fabric of the body's reality. Thus, each morning one awakens a little closer to the complete manifestation. By the close of this stage, something remarkable begins to happen. The thought of illness starts to feel foreign. It no longer fits the mental atmosphere. The old identity as someone unwell dissolves, replaced by the natural awareness of being whole. This is a pivotal moment, for it signals that the subconscious has shifted allegiance from reproducing the past to creating the desired future. Now the remaining days of the program are about deepening this alignment until health is not something to remember to think about, but the unquestioned assumption upon which all other thoughts are built. The mind has been rewired and the body is following its lead. By this stage of the transformation, the mental soil is fertile, and the seed of perfect health has sprouted strong roots. The conscious repetition of truth has begun to dissolve the old grooves of fear and limitation, replacing them with channels through which life's healing current flows without resistance. The individual finds that moments of doubt are now brief and easily replaced with the chosen image of health. This ease is not the result of chance, but the consequence of steadfast mental discipline. 30 days of sustained focus begins to automate the process, making the new thought the default rather than the exception. Here lies the real victory. When the desired state becomes effortless to recall, when the mind no longer drifts toward illness unless deliberately forced there, the subconscious is convinced, and the body is under new management. In this period, the relationship between mind and body becomes more evident. The body mirrors the state of the mind with astonishing fidelity, and subtle physical signs begin to reveal that healing is well underway. The skin may take on a healthier glow, the eyes may appear clearer, the posture may straighten without conscious effort. These are not small details, they are the visible echoes of an invisible reality. The subconscious has accepted the new command, and it is adjusting every process of the body to match. This is why consistency in thought is essential. The subconscious will never argue with the conscious mind, but it will faithfully produce whatever is impressed upon it most deeply, whether constructive or destructive. It is also during this stage that one must become especially attentive to self-talk in casual moments. Many speak affirmations in practice but contradict them in conversation without realizing it. A complaint about fatigue, a casual remark about age, or a joke about being sick again may seem harmless, but to the subconscious, every word is a command. The law of the subconscious does not pause for humor or figure of speech. It takes the statement as fact and works to make it true. Therefore, the wise practitioner guards their tongue, ensuring that every spoken word aligns with the vision of health, whether in meditation or in daily interaction. In this way, the mind is broadcasting the same message 24 hours a day, and the body responds accordingly. Here too, the power of environment comes into play. Just as a plant flourishes in clean air and sunlight, so does the mind flourish in an atmosphere of harmony. Surroundings that evoke peace, beauty, and order amplify the inner work. If possible, one might spend time in nature, where the body instinctively aligns with the rhythm of life and the subconscious is soothed by the silent testimony of growth and renewal all around. Even within a home, small changes, fresh flowers, soft light, calming colors can reinforce the feeling of health and ease. Every sensory impression either supports or weakens the mental blueprint. Therefore, every choice of environment becomes an act of healing. An essential understanding now emerges. The body is not healed by frantic effort, but by calm assurance. The one who grasps this truth no longer strains to make health happen. They rest in the knowledge that it is already present in the unseen, and their task is simply to maintain the mental atmosphere in which it can appear. This calmness itself is healing, for tension is the great disruptor of the body's natural processes. When the mind is at peace, the nervous system relaxes, circulation improves, digestion becomes more efficient, and the body's innate repair mechanisms function without obstruction. Thus, peace of mind is not merely a pleasant feeling, It is a vital component of physical restoration. At this stage, it is wise to deepen the practice of inner seeing. Beyond visualizing isolated moments of health, one can begin to imagine entire days lived in strength and vitality. Upon waking, they see themselves rising with energy, moving through tasks with ease, enjoying meals that nourish, and engaging in activities with joy. This extended vision reinforces the subconscious with a complete picture of life as a healthy person. The more detailed and consistent this picture becomes, the more effortlessly the body conforms to it. The subconscious thrives on specificity. It will fill in the details left to it, but it works best when given a clear, vivid plan. It is also the time to recognize that perfect health is not only the absence of disease, but the presence of abundant life. Many seek only to remove discomfort, but the law of mind responds more fully to a positive image than to the mere negation of a negative one. To focus on not being sick is still to hold sickness in consciousness. Instead, the thought must be filled with what is wanted: overflowing energy, clarity of mind, resilience in every function, joy in movement. The subconscious will deliver exactly what is held in thought with feeling. So the emphasis must be on building the image of more life, more strength, more vitality. By the close of this stage, the practitioner stands on the threshold of a complete mental rebirth. The old identity as someone prone to illness has lost its grip. The new identity as one who is naturally, vibrantly healthy is becoming the unquestioned reality. The mental blueprint is now not only accepted by the subconscious but guarded by it, for the subconscious, once convinced, defends its new pattern against intrusion. In the days ahead, the work will shift from establishing the image to expanding it, from merely claiming health to living it fully in thought, word, and action. The transformation is not only underway, it is becoming self-sustaining. At this point in the journey, the mind and body are in a relationship of increasing harmony, and the individual begins to sense an undercurrent of vitality that feels both ancient and new. Ancient because it is the original state in which life was intended to operate. New because it has been absent for so long that its return feels like a discovery. This current of life is not something added from outside. It is the awakening of what has always been within. The 30-day discipline has stripped away the interference of contradictory thoughts, revealing the uninterrupted flow of the healing power of the subconscious. The individual no longer struggles to believe in perfect health. It now feels like a natural assumption, as unforced as the expectation that the sun will rise tomorrow. This is the moment to deepen trust in the unseen process. The conscious mind loves to measure, compare, and analyze. But the subconscious works beyond the grasp of measurement. The greatest results often occur in silence, away from conscious observation. Just as the roots of a tree grow unseen beneath the soil, the reorganization of cells, tissues, and organs takes place quietly, building toward a moment when the visible body suddenly reflects the inner transformation. This is why impatience must be replaced with expectancy. Impatience signals doubt, which introduces conflicting instructions to the subconscious. Expectancy, on the other hand, is faith in action. It tells the subconscious that the outcome is certain and that all that is required is the right timing. During this phase, the individual may notice that their emotional atmosphere has shifted as well. There is a lightness, a greater ease in interacting with others, and a quiet joy in the simplest moments. This emotional well-being is not separate from physical health. It is an integral part of it. The subconscious cannot distinguish between mental and physical states. Both are expressions of the same life principle. Thus, to cultivate joy, peace, and love is to directly nourish the body. Laughter, genuine gratitude, and a spirit of kindness are not mere byproducts of healing. They are tools that accelerate it. By choosing to dwell in these states daily, the mind becomes a fertile ground where the seeds of health grow rapidly. Another key at this stage is the conscious integration of healthy action with the mental image. The law of mind will respond to thought alone, but when action supports that thought, the process becomes even more powerful. This does not mean forcing the body into strenuous activity beyond its capacity. It means acting in ways that express the state of health already accepted in the mind. Taking a leisurely walk, choosing foods that feel energizing, breathing deeply and fully, moving with intention. These are ways of telling the subconscious, this is how I live now. Action becomes a physical affirmation, reinforcing the mental blueprint through the language of the body. The practitioner must also remain alert to subtle attempts by the old mental program to return. This can take the form of sudden worry about a sensation in the body, an uninvited memory of past illness, or the influence of others' negative beliefs about health. These intrusions must be recognized instantly and met with calm replacement. One does not argue with them, for argument gives them reality. One simply turns again to the chosen image, repeating the health affirmation until the old thought loses its power. This quick redirection is a skill developed through the weeks of practice, and by now it has become second nature. The mind no longer entertains what contradicts the desired state. It instinctively returns to the truth. It is in this fifth stage that the subconscious often begins to produce results that are unmistakable to others. Friends may comment on a healthier appearance, a renewed energy, or a certain light in the eyes. These observations are more than compliments. They are confirmations that the invisible work is manifesting in visible form. The wise practitioner receives them with gratitude, not as the source of belief, but as evidence of it. For the law of the subconscious is consistent. The outer world will always mirror the inner state. By now the mirror is becoming clear, reflecting the health that has been firmly established within. This is also the time to strengthen the habit of speaking life into every area of being. The spoken word carries vibration, and vibration shapes matter. To speak of oneself as strong, vibrant, and whole is to continually reinforce the subconscious pattern. This speech must be intentional, not just in moments of practice, but throughout the day. Each time a word of health is spoken, the inner builder receives fresh instruction to maintain and expand the structure it has created. Thus, the new state becomes not just a condition of the body, but a way of life. As the 30 days draw toward their culmination, the practitioner begins to understand that this has never been merely a program to follow for a set period. It is a blueprint for living. The mental discipline that has been developed is a permanent skill, a lifelong resource that can be applied not only to health, but to every area of life. The ability to choose a state in consciousness, hold it with unwavering faith, and see it manifested in form is the very foundation of mastery over life. Health is the proving ground, but the principle is universal. In the final stage, this truth will be anchored so deeply that the body will no longer be the focus. It will simply be the natural reflection of a mind, permanently tuned to the frequency of wholeness. The final stage of this transformation is not an ending, but a sealing. The 30 days have been a sacred apprenticeship in the laws of mind, and the body now stands as living testimony to those laws. The individual who began with a desire for healing has crossed into a state of knowing that the mind holds the key to every condition, that the subconscious is a faithful servant to whatever image it is given, and that perfect health is not a privilege for the few, but a birthright for all. What once seemed like a distant goal has become the natural climate of thought, the atmosphere in which every cell of the body breathes and moves. This is the point where the new identity is not merely practiced, it is owned. Here the practitioner understands that health is sustained not by a rigid set of steps, but by the continuous cultivation of the inner state that produced it. Just as a garden remains beautiful through ongoing care, so the mind must be tended daily to keep the atmosphere pure and life-giving. The habits formed in these 30 days, guarding thought, speaking words of life, visualizing the desired state, feeling its truth, are not to be set aside, for they are the very soil in which health thrives. The difference now is that they are no longer a discipline imposed from without, but a joy chosen from within. The mind naturally returns to the image of wholeness, and the body naturally reflects it. In this culminating period, there is an opportunity to expand the vision beyond personal health to a greater sphere of influence. The law of the subconscious is not limited by the borders of the body. It extends its reach into relationships, work, and all circumstances. The same faith that restored vitality can restore harmony in the home, success in endeavors, and peace in the mind of those who come into one's presence. Perfect health becomes not only a personal possession, but a radiating force that uplifts others. In this way, the transformation fulfills its highest purpose, not merely to heal one life, but to awaken the awareness of this power in many. Gratitude now becomes the constant companion. It is no longer a practice done for effect, but the natural response to life itself. Gratitude for the body's strength, for the clarity of mind, for the unseen intelligence that governs every heartbeat. This gratitude strengthens the pattern of health with every breath. The subconscious thrives in the atmosphere of appreciation, for it is a signal that the work is complete, that nothing more is needed but to enjoy the abundance already given. And in that enjoyment, the body remains in a state of ease, free from the tensions that invite discord. There is also a profound peace in knowing that the body no longer rules the mind, but the mind rules the body. This is not a domination of willpower, but a harmonious ordering in which the higher directs the lower with wisdom and love. The mind, filled with images of vitality, instructs the body to repair, renew, and strengthen, and the body, freed from conflicting commands, obeys without resistance. This peace is the true sign of mastery, for it means that the individual is no longer at the mercy of chance, heredity, or circumstance. They have stepped into their rightful authority as the conscious custodian of their own life. As the 30-day journey completes, it is clear that the true healing was not only in the body, but in the perception of self. The old identity that accepted limitation, that expected decline, has been laid aside. In its place stands the recognition of the self as an expression of infinite life, incapable of sickness in its essence. The body may change over the years, but the life within remains untouchable, and it is from this life that all restoration comes. To live with this awareness is to live in freedom, free from the fear of illness, free from the tyranny of appearances, free to enjoy each day as a celebration of the life principle at work. The one who has walked this path now carries within them the key to health for all their days. Should any discord arise, they know exactly where to turn. Not to panic, not to the endless search outside, but to the quiet chamber of the mind where the image of wholeness waits. They know how to water it with thought, how to feed it with feeling, how to guard it with word and action until it blooms again into form. This is the great gift of the 30-day reconditioning. It has made health self-renewing, under the guidance of a mind aligned with the laws of creation. And so the journey that began with the desire for healing ends with the realization that healing is not an event, but a state of being. It is the natural result of living in harmony with the truth that life is for you, not against you, that the infinite intelligence which formed you is still at work within you, that the same power that turns the stars in their courses and brings the seasons in perfect order is the power that governs your heart, your breath, your every cell. To live in this awareness is to live in perfect health, now and for all the days to come. The body will obey what the mind believes, and the mind will believe what it chooses to dwell upon. Choose health, dwell upon it, feel it as present, and it will be yours in full measure. If you've made it this far, it's because a part of you is already ready for this new path. A part of you has already understood that being loved means nothing if it requires abandoning yourself. True self-love begins the moment you choose yourself, even if it costs you being alone for a while. Now tell me in the comments, are you ready to be misunderstood, rejected, even hated in the name of your inner freedom? Are you willing to pay the price of being you? If this message touched you, if it made sense, write in the comments, I choose my peace. Let's see how many here are truly ready for this transition. And don't forget, keep watching the next video, it's important. Much more than you imagine. See you there.